The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Travel42. Today I'm going to be going through a demo of our new Travel42 website from start to finish, basically collecting and creating a trip plan, then organizing it, and then also delivering it to your clients. Hopefully we'll keep it about 30-45 minutes with some question and answers at the end. If you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to ask them. I do try to take a peek at them every now and again. So if I do see a question and it pertains to what we're talking about in that moment, I will try to answer it. If not, I will try to answer it after the webinar is or after the main part of the webinar is over during the question and answer period. And then also take time for any new questions that might come in. If there's anything that I feel maybe need to work on a one-on-one basis with you to answer that question, I'll do that as well. But I'm going to give it another minute for everybody to join. If you could, please let me know if you can hear me and see my screen okay. You should see the dashboard to the new Travel42 site. I just want to make sure you can see and hear me okay. So if you want to say yes in the chat or just say it in the questions, whatever's easiest for you so that I know that you can hear and see my screen okay. All right, so we've got some all goods. Looks like everybody can hear and see all right. And this webinar will be recorded. So if say you have to jump off, you will be able to find it up here under this help tab. Any webinar that we host that's live, I do try to record. Sometimes there are some technical difficulties that prevent me from placing it under the help tab, but this is always the first place to go if you want to see a recorded webinar. Or any tips and tricks on how to use the new site in general. Let's go ahead and get started then. So Travel42, we've been around since 2011. Travel42 was a combination of Star Service Online and then also those Weissman destination guides. They merged in 2011 to form what is now known as Travel42. We have redesigned the site. It was definitely due for a little upgrade, so the content is still the same. Nothing changes in regards to the content. We just have a new way of laying everything out. Give me 1 second. All right. This is where you will, when you log into the new Travel42, and you'll notice you can get to it a couple different ways. We do still have the legacy site. So if you visit the www.travel-42.com, you'll see a button at the top that'll direct you to the new Travel42 site, or you can simply type in new.travel-42.com to visit the new site. That's that URL for now until we drop out of that legacy site completely. But for now, they are still both active. You can bookmark both of them. But I strongly suggest you use the new site. It's got an easier workflow in my opinion. There are some things we are working on, some future enhancements on the new site, so you will see new things coming. But it works perfectly as of now. If you find any issues, definitely let us know. We definitely take agent feedback in as well. So if you have anything you would like to see come in the future, definitely let us know, and you can do that under the help tab as well. So as soon as you log in, this is the page you're brought to. You'll notice it's my dashboard, your home page. You can get to it up here at the top as well. It stores all of your trip plans that you've created as well as your travelers that you've saved. You can add travelers at any time, and you can create trip plans at any time from this dashboard by simply clicking one of the two buttons, either create a trip plan or add a new traveler. Trip plans, I like to look at them not necessarily a planned out trip specifically, more like a folder where you store information. So this can be anything from you're sending your clients just some information on 3 different destinations they may want to go to, or you're sending your client a completely planned out itinerary for their upcoming vacation. It can be any one of those 2 options or anywhere in between. So it does not have to be a very intricate trip plan. It could simply be one hotel if you needed to just send them one hotel. We're going to walk through a simplified trip plan But you'll also find in the help tab, there's some organized trip plans as well if you want to get into organizing an in-depth itinerary. But I will touch on that in this webinar as well. So first off, when you create a trip plan, you're creating your folder. So if you are just starting, you need to create something to store your information in. You can do that by clicking Create Trip Plan here. If you want to start first by researching, you're not really sure what you want to add, you're not really sure what information you want to add into the trip plan itself, you can start by searching for information. Today, I'm going to start that way, simply by searching for the destination guide that I think I'm going to send to my clients. So I'm going to start up here, and I'm going to type in Hilton Head. You'll notice a drop-down populates. It shows me some possible destination guides that I may be wanting, or hotels, see and do, and then you can also view all the results down here. I'm going to click over here, this little magnifying glass, because I want to see all the results in one page to see kind of what I'm looking for. So you've got your destination guides, your hotels, cruises, and see and do. You can scroll through all those options on one page. You can load more if need be. Or if you wanted to filter between options, you can pick a specific hotel you're wanting to look for by the star rating or any one of these filters that we have. I always like to start at the destination guides, in my opinion, just because I like to see what the destination has, and then I dig into the hotels of where I think that they may want to stay from there. So here's the destination guide that I want to start with, Hilton Head, South Carolina. You get a little overview of that destination. You can add the item to a trip plan if you want to add everything within that destination guide, or you can click View Details. I like to view details, especially if I don't know much about that destination, so I'm going to click View Details for this one. You'll notice all of the options that I have within this destination guide are over here to the left, and then I can see the expanded version over here to the right. So if I wanted to read everything, I would simply just keep scrolling. Now, when you want to add information to this trip plan is where these little check boxes come in. You'll notice them all throughout the page because there are different ways to add information into this trip plan. You can click over here to add the full overview by clicking this checkbox. Then it will prompt you to add those items to a trip plan. You've got a couple of items when you want to add information to a trip plan. You can add that overview to your recently created or edited trip plans, or you can create a new trip plan. I'm going to go ahead and click Create New Trip Plan for this one. So the only thing you need to create a trip plan is this trip plan name. You don't need any other information, and you can create it just by that. But we'll go through this just to see what information we can get for you from this trip plan. So I'm going to type in Hilton Head, South Carolina vacation, especially prepared for. Say this was for a bachelorette party or a honeymoon. You could put Whirly Honeymoon or Whirly Bachelorette Party if you wanted it to kind of reflect a group travel. Or you can put in the traveler here or add the new traveler by clicking the plus sign beside the traveler. So let's see if I have myself as a traveler. And I do, so I'm going to go ahead and click my name. If, say, I did type in my name and I found that I wasn't a traveler, I would just simply create a traveler right here. So I'm going to click here. Now, suggested retail price. That can either be the retail price of the trip plan you're sending them, or what we like to look at it as here at travel42 is what all this information that you're providing them would cost. Obviously, you have to do a little bit of work to get this information in a trip plan and sent to them. They don't know how much work you have to do. So they're thinking that you're going through all these websites, putting together all these layouts, copying and pasting. Clients don't have any idea what travel42 is. So then you can put in, okay, it took me this long to create this trip plan. It would normally cost you this much if I were to send this to you or get all this information for you. But most of the time you waive it for them, and it kind of gives them a little, oh, look what they did for me. They gave me all this information and didn't charge me for it. For now, I'm going to leave this blank, but you can put any dollar amount from $10 to $50 to $100 if you wanted to. Next, we have the departure and return dates. If you know exactly when they're going to be going, you can input that when you create the trip plan. If, say, you're trying to just give them information now to start planning, You can always fill this in later. You have some comments as well if you wanted to put any information about this destination or about the trip plan you're creating. These comments are displayed to the clients. Next step would be the layout. So I'm going to go ahead and click next. This is where all your options come in. So your layout, you can add your cover page, add the trip summary, which is basically those table of contents, include a business card, which is your information, such as your name, address, phone number, email address. You can add maps to online view, which is the view that you actually email to them. You can show images in online view. I like to do this, especially in the online view, add the photos and the images because it looks really nice when they get it via email. Now, where this can come in handy, especially in my opinion, is the PDF view. A lot of people prefer to print the PDF view. So if you want to leave out the maps and leave out the images in the PDF view, that way they can print it easier, you can do that. Now these can always be changed. So if say you create the trip plan and don't include images or pictures, you can add those in later on if you needed to, and I'll show you where you can do that once we get going a little bit further. You can add a cover photo by uploading or linking an image. If you do not do one of those options, we will pick a picture from the destination guide, the hotel, the cruise, the point of interest, whatever you have added into your trip plan, we'll pick a picture for you. Next step is notes. These are internal notes and these are never displayed to the client. So whatever you want to put here will not be seen by anyone but yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and create new trip. This should bring me back to the Hilton Head Island destination, and it added all my overview items that I just clicked to add. So good. We've got all that already added. Once there's a check mark, you do not have to do anything else to save it. It is automatically saved for you. If you wanted to go through, say, I decided my clients don't really want to see the geography, you can uncheck it. It's no longer included in that trip plan and it has been saved. But you'll notice we include the geography, history, potpourri, and hotel overview information for you under that overview tab. You can get to the next tab, which is the See and Do tab, by clicking the tab right here. Or if you were to scroll to the bottom of the page, you can navigate, say you get to the bottom and you don't want to scroll all the way back up. You don't have to. Simply click the tabs at the bottom as well. Let's see here. Apply destination template. Say you don't really want to go through all this information, but you still want to add certain bits and pieces of the destination guide for your clients. We have destination templates that you can utilize as well. So one of the templates, this is where the templates are listed. You have your full destination guide, so it adds everything in that destination for the business traveler, the cruise traveler, and the leisure traveler. Or you can go through and pick and choose items here based on what you think your clients might like. Here, you do have to click Save to save this information, but once you do, it will be reflected over to the left. You'll be able to see the items that you've checked off. I'm going to exit out of that one. Those selections were not saved. It'll always let you know. Excuse me. So now we're at the See and Do tab. I know that because it's got the little pointed edge and says See and Do at the top. Something new that we have added, if you want to add a specific item in that destination guide, say there was a restaurant you really enjoyed while you were at that destination visiting, you can find it by name here, or if there's a specific sightseeing item, you can search here. Or you can scroll through that See and Do tab and see everything in its entirety. So let's see, I'm going to go ahead and add the sightseeing overview by checking here. You can also do that to the left. If I wanted to add recreation, nightlife, performing arts, simply check the checkbox to the left. Let's see what we have for historic sites. Harbor Town Lighthouse, I'll go ahead and add that one in. Stony Baynard Ruins Park. We've got museums, neighborhoods and districts. Go ahead and add that. Some parks and gardens. Then we have our recreation. If I wanted to add all recreation items, I would simply check here. And then all of my recreation items have been added. And that includes bicycling, boating and sailing, fishing. We've We've got horseback riding, lots of things to do in Hilton Head. And now we're at our nightlife, our next category. So you can add all nightlife or simply scroll through and pick and choose the items that you want to add. Live music. You'll notice some of these gold ticket items will pop up. These are either points of interest or dining that we highly recommend. So if you want to go through and add all those are things that we highly recommend here at Travel42 and North Star Travel. So I'm definitely going to check that one. Theater, venues, spectator sports, shopping, Coligny Plaza, Harbor Town. Add this one in. I'll take that one away. Decided I don't want to do this one, so I'm just going to simply uncheck it, and it is no longer added in my trip plan. Keep scrolling, and then you have some itineraries down here at the bottom. So say your clients aren't really sure what they want to go see or what they want to go do. This is something nice that you can add in. If they wanted to go to Savannah, it's just a 1-hour drive from Hilton Head. My father actually always recommends me go to Savannah when I'm in Hilton Head, so I definitely need to check that one out at some point in time. To Beaufort is just 45 minutes north of Hilton Head, and then to Charleston, and then you also have local tours if you wanted to add some of that information as well. We'll do the Spirit of Harbor Town. Next, we're going to dining. As I said, you can use these navigations at the bottom or scroll back up to the top and click the next tab. So we'll go to dining. And just so you guys know, these, you do not have to go in this order. Say if you just simply wanted to add restaurants in Hilton Head because they're only going to be in Hilton Head for one night, you can simply click dining and then just specifically choose 1 or 2 restaurants that they might enjoy. As I said when we first began, this does not have to be very intricate. You can add one thing and send it on. But I always like to add local and regional when I get to dining. You always want them to get that local and regional flair for whatever destination they're going to be visiting. And then you have different cuisines. We have American, Asian, Italian, Mexican, breakfast and brunch, late night seafood. Love seafood. The Old Oyster Factory. We'll add these 2 in there as well. You can't go to Hilton Head without, having seafood. And then you can go to the safety tab, which is next. I like to add all items under the safety tab. That one's a very good one to have. And then tips is also one of my favorites. Do's and don'ts especially. Some of these can be quite comical, so it's a great read for your clients. But some of them come in handy. Do try your hand at crabbing. This is one of Hilton Head's favorite sports. Don't disturb sand dunes, sea turtles, or female crabs carrying eggs. All 3 are protected by stiff fines according to federal law. You can be fined up to $390,000 or serve 56 years for disturbing a sea turtle nest. So if you have a client that maybe has never been to Hilton Head, definitely send them this information, or for any destination that they may never have been to or may not know anything about. These definitely come in handy, so I always add that one. Let's see, geostats, that's got your passport requirements, population, and then telephone codes. Money, I'm not going to add any of the currency exchange or the taxes, but I am going to add tipping. Then weather and what to wear. You've got internet access, some transportation here via air, and then tourist office. I like to add the tourist office just in case my clients need something while they're traveling. Next, we can go to events. You can add the overview. I'm not going to add this one into it. I'm just going to keep this one pretty simple. So overview, I'm not going to add, but you can read more just to kind of increase your knowledge on the destination, because somebody, say, 2 years from now, maybe wanting to go to Hilton Head, and before your previous client, you would have never known anything about it. But since you read a little bit more about Hilton Head and Travel42, you have a little bit more knowledge on that destination. So next we can go to hotels by clicking hotels here. All right, so hotels tab. You can filter hotels here in the upper left. You can look for them on the map by clicking this little icon right to the right, or you can see them in list view by clicking over to the right as well. I like seeing them in this view. I feel like I see a little bit more than either of the other views. But if I was going on a map, say they were specifically staying at or specifically going to a certain place, I'd want to find somewhere close to that place that they're going to be visiting. But I'm going to click here to filter hotels. You'll notice it's very similar to what we had first seen when we were looking for the destination to begin with. You can filter by star rating, by amenity rating, hotel name, the first letter of the hotel, and then we've got hotel preference, location, and type. All of these have scroll bars, so you can scroll through and add preferences as need be. Just always click apply filters here as opposed to the X if you are wanting to apply those filters. Let's see if we'll go ahead and put in beach. Hopefully all of them will be listed near the beach. Looks like it didn't filter too many out. So when you're wanting to look at the hotel, same thing we had with the destinations. You can either add the full item, view details, or compare up to 3 hotels. So if I wanted to compare, let's just say the first 3 just to make it easy, I'm going to click compare beside the first 3. You'll notice compare popped up right here. If I click on that, I now have my hotel compare, which shows me some features of each hotel, and then I can pick and choose from there. Let's go back to the results so we can kind of see what the reviews look like and what the information we have on each hotel looks like. So I'm going to click view details. You'll notice I'm brought to my overview very similarly to how I was brought with the destination guide. I have my basic info and then photo gallery and then booking info. This is never included in a traveler's report, so you don't have to worry about this one ever being added. The basic info, it does include the phone number, website, general manager, check-in time, check-out time. And we are going to be soon adding some information on COVID, some of their policies that they have, and you'll notice that down here. Hopefully we'll get that added pretty soon. But we have other places that list any COVID updates or information. I'll show you where that is once we get towards the end, because that's under our news and alerts feature with our IntelliGuide. Travel alerts. So basic info, I like to add that one because it does have the address of the hotel, the website of the hotel. Now, if you would prefer your clients to reach out to you directly about everything, you don't want them to have any sort of contact with the hotel at all, you don't have to check this one. You can check everything else from the star review to the photo gallery to the property. But I'm going to go ahead and add this one in here, as well as the photos. You can go to the star review by clicking down here. So we have our star review, which includes some different sections. I'm going to go ahead and add that one in there. Then we can get to the property by clicking here. This gives you some amenities, facilities, restaurants on site, meeting facilities, recreation, rates and policies, and location. I always like to add room amenities as well as hotel facilities, restaurants for sure. Oh, and both of those look so good. Meeting facilities, I don't normally add that one unless I know somebody's doing a special event where they need access to a meeting facility or having some sort of business engagement, but I don't normally add that one in there. Put in the recreation, rates and policies, and then the location. Map is next. And then you can see exactly where it is. And then if you wanted to go to nearby hotels, you could do that as well. Let's go back, which should take us back to our destination guide. It did. And then our hotels tab, which is what we were just on. We had added some information from this hotel. If I wanted to delete it completely, I would simply click here. Next, you can go to the related tab. Say you want to add some more destination information about nearby destinations they can visit. This related tab comes in handy. You'll notice Georgia's nearby, Hilton Head, South Carolina, which is where we are, South Carolina. And then it also gives the mileage it is away from where your destination is. I'm going to exit out of this though. And anytime you exit out of an overlay, everything is saved. I'm not doing anything else to save that information from the destination or the hotel I added. It is already saved because I checked it. So let's exit out. Now I'm back to my dashboard where my trip plan should populate. And it did. Hilton Head, South Carolina vacation. I can click this bubble if I wanted to go ahead and send it as is. Got some options here, or I can get into my trip plan by clicking open or just simply clicking on the trip plan itself. All right, so now I have collected my information. I've got Hilton Head, South Carolina. I've got my hotels, and then I've got my see and do activities. If I needed to add a custom place, such as maybe the airport they're going to be flying out of, or if they're staying at a family member's house that obviously we don't have information about within our site, you can put that here. You can enter the website. If you put in a website here for the place or for the custom place you're adding, we may be able to fill all this information in for you. Otherwise, you can just type in the name of the custom place, the place type, address, and then a description, and then hit save for that one. I'm not going to add anything from that now. Next step is the organize step. Now, as I said earlier, if you wanted to make this simple and you just wanted to give them information to research, you do not have to organize it. You don't have to put this into an itinerary. You can simply send or print and download as it is, and it will just show them all that information that you've just added. But if you wanted to put the information onto the calendar, you'd simply go to the Organize tab. You'll notice it populates with whatever month we are currently in. So I'm going to click the next month, which is the month that they are going to be traveling to Hilton Head. So first I want to start with my destination guide. I click on that to expand it. And if I want to drag it to the appropriate date that they're going to be staying, I click that destination and drag it over to the appropriate date. So they'll be there from the 10th to the 13th. So I need to get this from the 10th to the 11th, the 12th, and then the 13th, which is the date that they're coming home. I'm going to hover over to the right of that entry. I'll find that double-edged arrow. I'm going to click and drag it to the 13th. So now they are there from the 10th to the 13th, which I will see reflected down here in my trip itinerary. Now I have it set to where I hide the scheduled items. So you'll notice now it says I have no destination guides because I hid the Hilton Head Island because it's scheduled. If you wanted to show items, even items that are scheduled, simply uncheck and you'll be able to see all items here. So now I still see that it's Hilton Head from September 9th, from September 10th to September 13th. And then we can go to our hotel and put that one on the itinerary by clicking, dragging it over to the 10th, and then dropping it. Now I'm going to do the same thing I did with my destination. I'm going to click on that double-edged arrow, drag it over, and drop it. And you'll notice everything is color-coded. So you'll notice the destination guide, the hotels, the see and do items, the restaurants, everything is color-coded differently. So you can get a feel for what you've got scheduled and what you don't. Now, when I add dining, say I have a restaurant that they're going to be going to, and they're going to be going to a specific time at this restaurant. Obviously, I can't put times right here, but if I go to, say, week view, I have access to all times. Same with day view. I have access to all times. So now I can simply click on the restaurant that they are going to be going to, drag it over to the appropriate time that they're going to be eating at that restaurant, and voila, I now have a low country backyard in Hilton Head, South Carolina scheduled from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. And you can see all those portrayed here as well. So Thursday, September 10th, I've got Hilton Head. I've got the hotel that they're going to be staying at, and then the restaurant that they're going to be eating at from 1 to 3. Let's see if we can find a point of interest to see what color that one populates. Oh, let's see. We'll do Coligny Beach Park. We'll say that'll be after lunch from 5 to 7. So now I've got everything scheduled. My destination, my hotel, I have my restaurant that they're going to be eating at, and then their see and do activity that they're going to be going to. You can always do more. You can go to more dates, drag and drop everything that they're going to be going to based on their itinerary. But I think I'm good here. So let's go over to the Deliver tab. This is what you're going to see exactly what you're going to be sending to your clients on this page. So this is where you can kind of navigate and see how everything looks before you actually send it. I've got my logo here that I added myself. I've got my picture, my headshot here that I've added myself, and then the information that I want my clients to see if they do need to get back in contact with me. My trip summary, you'll notice Thursday, September 10th, I've got everything that's going on those dates. And then I have those dates over here to the left that I can navigate between. So I've got Hilton Head, South Carolina was first. Then I've got my hotel, the restaurant that they're going to be eating at, and then Coligny Beach Park, which they're going to be going to that evening. So from here, you can print it, you can send it, you can download it to your computer, whatever is best for you to get it to your clients. For this instance, I'm going to go ahead and click send. I'm going to send them a copy of this one. Now, a cool thing about when you send, you can actually attach a PDF to the email. So they'll see the PDF version if they did want to print it off. Now, you can always uncheck and not send that and uncheck the send me a copy portion if you didn't want to send that to yourself. But I like to add that in there. So now I'm going to find my traveler. First one that populated was Larissa. That's who the traveler is. You can search by email address or name. I'm going to go ahead and simply click. You can add multiple travelers as well. Just make sure that your traveler is added under that traveler section under the dashboard. That's where we pull the email addresses from. So if you need to send it to somebody, always make sure it's added there first or added into the trip plan in general. So the subject can be customized if you wanted to remove that and add your own subject. The body of the email can be edited as well. So let's go ahead and click send email. Let's see when it comes in. Here we go. All right, so here's the email that I just received for my trip plan. You'll notice I still have that headshot and logo and then all my information. Enjoy your trip. Sincerely, Larissa Worley. The client can then view online or view the PDF. So we can do a little bit of both. I'm going to go online while I'm waiting for that PDF to load. Where'd you go? Oh, there it is. Sorry about that. Working with two computer screens can sometimes be very difficult, but it does come in handy for me at least. All right, so here's my trip plan. This is exactly what the client is going to see, and you'll notice it's pretty much exactly what you saw when we looked under that preview for the trip plan under that Deliver tab. So they can navigate over here, any one of the dates, go to the next date. They have access to everything under that trip plan, and they can always review it at a later time if they needed to. And cool thing when you actually send the trip plan, if say you make any updates, say they decided they don't want to go to the Low Country Backyard on Thursday, September 10th, they'd rather go on Saturday evening. If you switch that within the trip plan under your dashboard, they would see the updated trip plan once they pull up that view online. Once they pull up that email, they'll be able to see any updates that you've done. All right, so that is the trip plan that we have sent. I think we are good there. If ever you wanted to resend it, say they deleted the trip plan and they need you to resend it, you just simply go back to the dashboard, click the little bubbles, send or print or download. All these trip plans will be available for you forever unless you click delete. So once you delete, they are gone forever. Now, I did mention earlier that you can always add in the trip plan dates or any information that you want to update under that trip plan, such as the pictures or the maps. You can click edit details. It pulls up that same screen we had when we created the trip plan, and you can add or edit any information there, such as the layout, the maps, the online view, images. If you wanted to uncheck those, you could. Just be sure to hit save edits at the end. Now, a couple of things about the site just to help you navigate a little bit easier. The news and alerts tab, somebody was asking about COVID restrictions. We are trying to get the hotels updated with any restriction that they have. It'll link you to kind of their page on what they're doing for COVID. But we also have IntelliGuide travel alerts. So these come in handy. These are updated 24/7 all over the world. You can see them in real time, and then you can also get more travel alerts by clicking up here. That's under the News and Alerts tab to the right of the dashboard. You also notice we have some blogs here from Travel Weekly and Travel Age West, which are our sister products. As I said, the Help tab, you can get to that to get to any recorded webinars you might want to view, or if you needed to ask a question or find a PDF on how to use the new site, that's where you would go to get that information. If you wanted to get back to the Legacy Travel42 site for any reason, you would do that by clicking this Legacy Travel42 site. If you click on your email in the upper right corner, you've got a couple of options. So I'm going to go to my profile here in just a moment just to show you what's listed under there. Manage account is going to be more so any sort of payment options if you're on a standalone account, or say your user ID and password information if you're on a group account. This one's more the finance side of things and your saved information. But I'm going to go up here to my profile. My business card populates. This is the information that my clients saw in regards to getting in contact with me. So my phone number, my email address, company name. You can put in your address, your city, state, and zip, your company logo and headshot. For this, you do have to click save. So always click save at the top or at the bottom. Next is the preferences tab. I do always recommend going through these anytime you have any changes, because this is where everything stems from. Preferences is mainly how your clients are going to see the trip plans and basically how you search the site in general. So always go through these if you want to update any information. And that's by clicking under the email and then going to profile. I'm going to leave business card up just in case you guys needed to get my email address or my phone number. You can contact me directly if you have any questions. I'm going to kind of open it up now for any questions that you guys might have. Thank you guys so much for joining. If I see any come through, I'm just going to answer them as they come through. But please feel free to reach out to me directly. We really hope you like the new site, and we created it to make it easier on you guys. Our agents are definitely why we do what we do. We want you guys to have the most up-to-date and best content you can, which is why we created Travel42. So thank you guys, and let me know if there's anything I can do for you.